Welcome back as we dive deep into the endlessly unpredictable, rumor-filled, hype-driven universe of Canon announcements. A space where expectations are always sky-high. Timelines are flexible to the point of being almost comedic, and long-term product strategies often feel like carefully rehearsed sleight of hand, designed to keep photographers, videographers, filmmakers, and content creators constantly refreshing their feeds for the next leak or teaser. This is the ecosystem where a camera or lens can feel imminent one week, completely disappear the next, and then resurface months later wrapped in an entirely different narrative. And lately Canon has been operating at such an unusual cadence that it almost feels like someone deep inside the company accidentally discovered the publish button and decided to press it at random, resulting in recent releases like the Cinema EOS R7, the Canon R6 Mark II, and the unexpectedly buzzworthy RF45 f1.2 SDM. That particular lens became an instant talking point, exploding in pre-orders thanks to a rare mix of a fast f1.2 aperture, a relatively compact SDM design, strong autofocus performance, and a hybrid photo-video appeal that directly targets creators working in low-light portrait photography, wedding videography, documentary projects, and YouTube production, all while maintaining a size and balance that makes it practical on modern mirrorless bodies and gimbals. Canon clearly knew what they were doing with that release, watching engagement metrics spike and discussion threads light up across forums and social platforms. But what made this entire launch cycle feel especially strange was the unusually long buildup of embargo dates, leaks, and whispers that convinced almost everyone a full wave of RF mount lenses was about to land at once, with rumors confidently pointing to 3 or even 4 lenses dropping together. Only for Canon to pull a classic move and effectively say, "Here's one lens, enjoy," leaving the rest of the expected lineup conspicuously absent and instantly sending the Canon rumor mill into overdrive. History has shown that when Canon holds back like this, it is rarely because nothing else is coming, but rather because something larger is being carefully staged behind the scenes, timed for maximum impact. And one of the most talked about upcoming pieces of glass in that hidden lineup is the RF 2050mm f4 PZ power zoom lens. This lens is widely regarded as a real and confirmed product aimed squarely at hybrid shooters using bodies like the R6 Mark III and the Cinema EOS R7, offering smooth electronic zoom control, compact dimensions, internal balance that works well for gimbal and handheld rigs, and a focal range that feels purpose-built for documentary filmmaking, travel videography, event coverage, and cinematic YouTube content. When paired with higher resolution bodies, such as the heavily rumored R5 Mark II, it could become one of the most versatile all-in-one tools in Canon's RF ecosystem, allowing creators to move quickly between wide establishing shots and tighter compositions without swapping lenses or disrupting their workflow. Alongside that, and perhaps even more intriguing, is the persistent whisper of an RF 300-600mm affordable super telephoto lens, a phrase that almost sounds mythical when paired with Canon's historical pricing, yet one that keeps resurfacing from multiple sources who suggest the lens already exists in prototype or near-final form and has been quietly field-tested. If it arrives anywhere near the affordability hinted at in these rumors, even if affordable remains relative by Canon standards, it could significantly lower the barrier to entry for wildlife photography, sports shooting, aviation tracking, and bird photography within the RF mount ecosystem, opening the door for enthusiasts and semi-professionals who previously found Canon's long glass offerings financially out of reach. No firm release date has been locked down, of course, and the usual vague promise of eventually hangs in the air, which perfectly encapsulates Canon's long-game strategy of patience, silence, and calculated reveals. This naturally raises the obvious question of why Canon chose to release only one RF lens when expectations were so high. And the answers likely span everything from production constraints and supply chain timing to firmware readiness, internal prioritization, and Canon's long-standing reluctance to rush unfinished products to market. That same caution, however, often leads to long gaps that feel especially frustrating to users watching competitors move faster, iterate more publicly, and dominate short-term headlines. The uncertainty doesn't stop with lenses either, because Canon's camera body roadmap is just as murky, with the Canon R7 Mark II serving as a prime example of a highly anticipated APS-C mirrorless upgrade that many expected much earlier, but which now seems more realistically lined up for a CP plus 2026 announcement. By the time it officially arrives, it will have been discussed, dissected, and speculated about for so long that it almost risks feeling like a legacy product before launch. Yet its potential combination of improved autofocus algorithms, faster burst rates, enhanced video capabilities, better heat management, and refined ergonomics could still make it a standout option for wildlife shooters, sports photographers, and budget-conscious filmmakers who want extra reach without stepping into full-frame territory. Then there is the mysterious Canon R8 Mark II, a camera that at one point seemed firmly planted on the roadmap, but has since gone completely silent, with no fresh leaks, no solid specifications, and no clear strategic direction, existing only as a conceptual ghost floating through rumor space. On the cinema side, however, the picture feels slightly clearer, with increasing chatter about Canon expanding its lineup above the C400, which makes logical sense given Canon's deep and ongoing investment in the cinema EOS ecosystem, as it continues to segment cameras for broadcast, documentary, narrative filmmaking, and high-end commercial production. There was once talk of a new V-series camera arriving before the end of 2025, but that idea now feels more like hopeful speculation than a concrete plan, reinforcing the pattern that Canon prefers strategic silence ahead of major announcements, allowing anticipation to build organically while competitors chase faster, more reactive release cycles. As we move closer to 2026, the overall picture is one of quiet tension, where the absence of frequent announcements doesn't signal inactivity, but rather the calm before a larger, coordinated push of RF lenses, mirrorless camera bodies, cinema systems, firmware updates, and ecosystem refinements designed to strengthen Canon's position across photography, videography, and content creation markets. Until that moment arrives, all that's left for creators and enthusiasts to do is analyze the leaks, read between the lines of patents and registrations, compare supply chain whispers, drink far too much coffee, and speculate endlessly about what Canon will reveal next. Because if history has proven anything, it's that Canon rarely stays silent for long, and when it finally speaks, it tends to do so loudly enough to reshape conversations across YouTube, social media, and the wider camera industry for months to come.